I'll make a motion that we accept consent agenda.
We don't have one, but if
Oh.
it is, it was accepted.
Special meeting. I thought we had I thought we had an agenda that we were opening for the.
It just won't, it just doesn't cover the.
Yeah, we don't have minutes or anything.
Oh, we don't have
Yeah,
minutes.
My name
Okay.
is James. Scalise.
Never mind then. Sorry. I was being more official than I thought I needed to be.
All right,
Sorry.
I will ask if there's any public comment on agenda items from the public. All right, so we are looking at ordinance 795. That's the ordinance amending the annual budget for the calendar year of 2023 as stated in section 1.
Make a motion that we accept ordinance number 795 for the amendment of the budget.
I'll second that.
And any discussion?
Y'all have questions about what went on there? I'd be happy to tell you what's on there.
Why don't you just share it? Pardon?
Okay. So. So this one, we're showing revenue and expense in a table form instead of in the long written, because it's more sane this way. The reality is that the 408 and the 410, the bulk of those funds are moving ARPA money over to pay for the brim and the fence. That's the 408 and the 410 together, and then water sewer. I don't recall what that expense is. Darn it. And I don't know that I can tell you because we don't have this computer. A lot of that was, remember when we withheld the 20K in truck fund? We had the money, so we gave it back, so we did contribute to the truck fund. That's 20 of that, and then the other 12 is for some other things. I could go away for a minute and find something.
That's-
I'd be looking for old
That
printouts.
sounds like
Yeah.
full disclosure.
Well, okay, I would disclose more, but we showed up this morning to having no server, so Visions is down until probably tomorrow night at the earliest.
And it does seem to me we discussed this in the past meetings.
Yeah, we have, nothing really changed other than moving the two bars, the two ARPA things over. The thought being is we only have next year to spend it, so, and those are really good expenses for it in an area that doesn't really have a lot of budget extras. If we decided we didn't want to do that, then that'd be fine. But
Any other discussion? Any other questions? We'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Okay, motion passes. And on to ordinance 796, and that's the ordinance for our adopting of the budget for the year 2024 as required by law. Adopting the 2024 fee schedule, which is also attached, and adopting all City of Toledo policies and procedures in the lists.
I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance 796 to cover the 2024 budget and adopting the fee schedule and policies and procedure lists.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion?
Where will we find the fee schedule?
It was down underneath the ordinance 796. So it's like pages, which there's 8 pages of it. The fee schedule starts on page 3,
Okay.
teeny tiny print,
What?
but it's teeny tiny print.
Okay. On page 3,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking
Of ordinance 796.
at ordinance 796. I do not want it to appear. Laws. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sure enough, it's in there.
And those were the
It's
ones
not.
that,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh.
I said, sure enough, it's in there, yeah.
and these are the ones that we had discussed, it was a couple weeks ago, correct?
Right,
And there is a correction to event fees the second line says second day. Right now on the website right now.
Yeah.
They both say first day, the
Okay.
second line, second.
Yeah.
Second day, okay.
Is that, where is that, in Parks?
It's like the very first.
Yeah.
Fourth, fifth line down on fees.
Yes, that is corrected in the final attachment.
I had a question. It says we are giving no donation to the Lewis County seniors. Is that correct?
We didn't this year, and we didn't,
Okay. And we have no money in our water meter replacement.
right, because that task is finished.
We're on the fee schedule.
Oh, yeah, we're on the fee schedule.
We've
Well,
already passed the budget.
no, that's the,
No,
no,
that's
that's,
all in one.
that's the budget.
Oh,
So if we have a water meter that breaks in the future, will that not?
I think we have meters. Public Works is not here, so I can't tell you,
Okay,
but I'm pretty
so-
sure that we had an excess of meters that we got from Winlock we purchased.
It looks like in 2020 it was 0, but we spent 38,000, and in 2023 it was 0, but we spent 3,700. And in 2024 it's 0.
The reason 2022 is so high is because we did not do a budget amendment in 2022.
Yeah.
But that included a bunch of meters finishing up the digital read. And I do believe that this 3,700 is us buying the rest of Winlock's stock because they don't use it anymore, so that we have supposedly, I think we have a glut of meters. So we shouldn't be buying any more meters in the near future. And then when a resident comes in, if we're out of meters, then we pay for that through a different way. So I think that's kind of supposed to be the end of that bars line of the meter replacement.
So
So I don't think that we need to budget money for meters. We're flush.
okay,
I'm not sure why we didn't budget it last year. I don't think that,
I don't think we were,
yeah, we didn't know.
we didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't, you don't know what you don't know.
Let's see, things,
Okay, this is just a housekeeping thing,
Sure.
but this printout that you gave says page 8 of 7.
Yep, we can't fix it because we had no way to get at the data. Because we had no server as of,
Oh,
6 a.m. this morning.
okay.
we tried to
Because of the
fix it, but we'd had,
server.
so I delivered it as a PDF. So we could have handed it the PDF, but we will fix that before we put out the book, the 2024 book. The reason that it's out of order is because I made a first page, which is instructions on how to generate that for the staff. And then I was able to tell revenue to start at page 0 and renumber and do a different numbering. And then I went and hand edited you would think it would be made better. It's fairly common in the business world to have a cover sheet, a page and then the content, and you would think the numbering would support that, but it didn't.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm quite proud of what we have going on here. This ordinance 796, because it shows revenue for the first time in history. And it shows revenue and expenses next to each other in something that's sane to actually read and understand for both us and the public. So you can see that the one thing I didn't do the roll up of, and you can see that I broke out general from parks, planning and courts. Just so we can see what their budgets each kind of look like, even though that whole thing does roll up, including the PD rolls up into the current expense budget. It was a lot closer before the revenue for our 15% pass through. We make 15%, so we made almost 20 grand on that last year. It's like 18. Otherwise, that would have been a lot closer. The only fund in the top that we're having to use carryover money for is none of those. It's in public works. It's in streets. We're carrying over $5,000 of unspent money to make budget this year. And water sewer, and this is kind of part of the reason we delayed the water sewer rate change, because I think that we're going to be needing to push some money from capital expense to operational expense, because it's $30,000 under. So we've got time to see that maybe, and if you, oh, and this is the other thing that I think we're putting out for the first time is reserves. So that's on the second page, you'll see all of our reserve funds with the beginning of year reserves and the estimated end of year reserves. And so you can see that the 410 fund down there has got a good amount of money in it. That will easily cover 10% of a loan that the Gray and Osborne say we need to fix the sewer things, or if something else big breaks. And so maybe we slow down putting money into that for a little while, direct some money at expense, because we can't keep carrying 30 grand over every year, right? Because the only reason we can do it now is because not a lot's been getting done in public works the last couple of years. So they've got money to spend. But I'm thinking next year, they might not have that money. Last year, the budget was underwater and we removed the truck and the summer hire to make it match. Didn't want to remove the summer hire this year. And it turned out we had the money. I think some of that is because the revenue for water and sewer was too low to what we're expecting to get. And so we were beating that by a significant amount. We're actually still, I think, going to beat that. Even if we weren't to raise water sewer rates, we would still, the revenue we had budgeted, we would meet. But that's because we're bringing 30K in. I'll move on to the next topic if you want to. Everybody's got that. Okay, so in 2010, we transferred $62,000 from the city building fund. I have not figured out why we did that yet. I don't know if that was to do this work or if we were just out of money, and the general fund was out of money, becoming out of money. What the thing that happened at the end of 11 and 12, where staff had to take a cut to 32 hours, you could see that coming in 2010. And so they were already grabbing money from elsewhere, and one of those was the city hall building fund. And so we have taken the interest from that fund for the last 30 years and put it in the general fund. And in 2010, like I said, in November, we took $62,000 from that fund, moved it into the general fund. This reflects all of that getting returned. Because as you can see from the top, in the general fund reserves, we have almost $400,000 in the general fund reserves, which is good. That's like, if we look at what our annual budget is at 458, it's pretty close to a year in reserves. And that's after taking and giving the city hall that money. The nice thing about that nice $10,000 or $100,000 is if we got $1 million grant that wanted a 10% match, we've got it to build, to do what needs to be done in city hall. So I think that's a good thing to have done.
Well, at least it's good to know this and not be in the dark anymore, you know?
Yeah. And there are a whole bunch of little things that needed to get done, and those are reflected in these beginning of year reserves to move money around between the funds. We ended up with 4 of the funds claiming a negative percentage of ownership of the LGIP. And but small amounts, like under 2,000 or under 3,000 on all of them each. And so this reflects them all making themselves whole to zero. And most of that comes out of the expense funds. I could show you another printout, but I wasn't able to get a current version of it before the survey. So I would be showing you an old one. What else is fun in here?
So all this budgeting broke the server.
Yeah, I think so. The spreadsheet's not small. The nice thing about this, I think, for the first time, because I know last year when I was asking, why are these numbers so weird? And I was told, well, they get double counted. Well, they don't have to get double counted. So this budget is not double counting any numbers. So we have revenue of about $1 million and we're spending 986,000. So it doesn't say like 1.3 and 1.2 and 200,000 of that is us transferring money amongst ourselves. I made it so that we didn't do that. So we didn't show that. And some of that is we move non-revenue and non-expense. So you'll notice in the budget, there's a non-revenue and a non-expense section. And those are like pass-through fees or grant fees or grant payments and receiving. So yeah, that's what we got there. budget, a very good point. This is really close to what so if you were to compare the two, they're really close. There were a couple little changes made. Rachel and I walked through the budget and she pointed out a few things that she thought could be tightened up a little bit. I think we ended up lowering the water sewer budget by like $1,000 amongst changing very things down, like, well, that looks like it's never really been $2,000 and we're budgeting $2,000, so let's lower it. And we had another one that was like, looks like it was gonna be over, and so we raised that just a little bit. A lot of that had to do with testing, water sewer testing is through the roof,
Yeah,
like crazy through the roof,
and is it just,
and we're picking up more. I guess as of January, we have to start doing PFAS testing. And one other thing, I forget what John Cravens told us, building.
is it cost of supplies, cost of the service, what is it?
Cost of the service. You know, we have one of them which does a bunch of testing for us, something analytical. They charge us a $50 resilience fee on every transaction. And that's to dispose of the,
Oh,
you know, 20 milliliters of water we send them. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's easy. Fill in a toilet, press the flush button, and it's gone. I mean, it's literally just water. So I think it's something maybe we need to reach out to them and say, this is crazy, because if you look at it, we should be budgeting like $1,500, $2,000 a year in just their resilience fee. It's like, if you want to feel good about yourselves, you do that with your money, not ours.
Well, but they probably have some type of specific disposal because it's coming from different areas. They don't know what your water is.
Is it going to the Department of Ecology?
They could send it back to us for cheaper.
Where does it go?
Actually, maybe that's the answer, is just send it back to us. I assume they flush it.
Well, then you're talking $50 an hour of staff sending it back.
We sent there's one invoice where we sent them 2 water samples that had 2 different tests run on them. Those got broken apart and they charged us $50 for each of them. If they're worried about their ESG score, they can do that on their own dime. I don't want to pay. for their
Have
ESG
Rachel
score.
call them. She's very
She
good
will,
at
and she will, yes. So I think that's kind of, that's on the list of things that need to get brought down, because that line item itself is.
that.
Yes.
I think you need to adjust your.
Yeah,
fees.
people like, they will always charge big city prices, but if you go and talk to them for small city prices, they will give you.
We're 700 people, you
Yeah.
can't be charging us.
Go chat them up for small city prices. Yeah.
Any more discussion? Anybody got any more questions? No? All right, we'll call it to a vote. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. And we'll ask for any public input. Yes.
I just wanted to point out that these were first readings of these 2 ordinances, and you'll be doing this again on Monday, a week from today.
Yes.
Oh, goody.
And no public input. No public.
Cricket.
Yeah.
Cricket.
hope you all enjoy the YouTube video.
Exactly. Precisely. All right, then we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a
I
motion.
motion
to
we
adjourn.
adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Who was more excited? Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Vader, I just read that Vader passed the police budget for 103,000.
That's not.
And no,
What is that? We're done. Yeah, that's not a